What's up, you guys? It's Jonathan Carter, and today we are talking about Black Swan. Black Swan originally came out in 2010 and just recently was re-released for its 15th year anniversary. Black Swan is directed by Darren Aronofsky, who is most known for directing Requiem for a Dream, The Whale. I truly enjoy both of those films, but Darren Aronofsky is known for directing these very heavy and intense, hard-hitting movies that leave you feeling really bleak sometimes, a little hopeless. And also, if you've been following on the channel for a little while, you know that I am a former professional ballet dancer, so having this movie page now and having the experience of a former professional ballet dancer of 10 years and now being someone who teaches ballet, it kind of put me in a unique position to talk about this movie on its 15th year anniversary re-release in theaters, and it was something I was very excited and nervous and a little hesitant to dive into. So all that being said, before we get into this review, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram for shorter versions of these reviews, and on Spotify for podcast versions of reviews if podcasts are more your thing. Also, I do have my merch here on. Check out my merch shop. I'll have that linked somewhere on my profile or at the bottom of this video. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So, being a former professional ballet dancer, for me, Black Swan hit hard in all of the right places. Now, ballet is a little more intense for female dancers. They go through a lot of very intense things in ballet, or just being a professional ballet dancer. And when Black Swan was originally released, it was heavily criticized for its depiction of mental health and almost kind of reveling in our main character's journey of her traumas, anxiety, stress, and just overall like mental health, the journey that she goes on. And because, again, this is Darren Aronofsky, those elements of the movie are very prominent and like in the forefront of the film. You can't escape them in this movie. And so from that critical perspective, I could see how one would see this movie almost, instead of having anything important to say about those topics, it just makes it like more glorious that to be anxious and stressed in the ballet world or in your professional work environment.
I don't want to talk about that.
You really need to relax.
Stepping away from this movie 15 years after its release, and also somebody who has just rather recently stepped away from dancing professionally in the ballet world, I almost see this movie as more so of an overall study of the dynamics and how harmful experiences can be in the ballet world, and it more so is almost like this caricature of like, hey, here's everything that somebody can experience in the ballet world. Doesn't that really suck? Isn't it very harmful that these are real things that happen to people that not that many people outside of the ballet world really know about? And so on that perspective, I think everything having to do with the industry of ballet, being a ballet dancer in a company, fighting for a role, it really hits the nail on the head of how far some people will be pushed just to get to that next level or feel like they are important as a professional ballet dancer or in that industry. Now, are some of the things in this movie dramatized? Yes, but also it's a movie. That is going to happen. Movies are normally larger than life. So our main character here, Nina, played expertly by Natalie Portman, I might add, is a professional ballet dancer in this company in New York City, who this company is about to begin its season with one of the most famous ballets in the world, Swan Lake. Swan Lake is known for everything it talks about in this movie is true. It is known for being a very demanding ballet because the main character of the ballet, the white swan, has to be this very fragile, gentle character in the ballet, but then also halfway through the ballet switches to a more dynamic, fierce, almost more of an evil person, and the dancer that plays this role has to be able to pull off both, has to be able to dance both roles, and it's a very demanding ballet for that reason. So with something like that, a role that demands these two different versions of itself, that's where the movie really starts to dive into this kind of schizophrenia, mental health split, where our main character here, Nina, she is so incredibly stressed because she just wants to be the best dancer that she can be, and the way that the ballet world operates, where it can push you to that extreme where you feel like you don't really have any help or any other choice, creates this, again, mental split in Nina's head where she's trying to be herself, who is this kind of sheltered individual who lives with her mom. Her mom wants her to be the best dancer ever, is kind of coddling her and strangling her in a sense. And then in the movie, Nina has that split where the Black Swan, that caricature, comes out and is trying to come out of her, and she can't really decide who she wants to be. So this ballet, this profession that she is in, is slowly chipping away at her mental health. And I could see where a lot of people think that the movie is kind of commercializing that or living in that and wanting dancers to do that. But I almost see it where, yeah, this is something that happens and it doesn't really get talked about, and it is very, very harmful for people that are in the ballet world. Everything that has to do with the industry of ballet in this movie, I am genuinely very impressed with the writers and director of this movie. They studied the art of ballet, and not only that, but the industry itself. It almost seems like they went into companies and watched things that happen on a day-to-day basis, and this was 15 years ago, and ballet, I mean, isn't all that prominent or popular, but it is, I would say it's more popular now than it was in 2010. Yeah, these things can really happen in ballet. Nina being sexually assaulted by her director just to get a role, or cast out by all her peers in the company just because they are all gunning for this role. It can be a very, very nasty and unforgiving industry, and I am just genuinely surprised and honestly impressed at how much the writers and director of this movie studied the industry of ballet itself. I really don't know how they got these kind of connections that they did to find what this world truly operates like. Also, earlier I spoke about Natalie Portman's performance. I can't go any further without speaking about Mila Kunis and also Winona Ryder.
He always said you were such a frigid little girl.
Every actor here turns in a phenomenal performance. The movie is shot so incredibly well with, moments in New York City, but also in a dance environment, in the studio, at these galas, and then also on stage. Like the dancing moments here, the homework that Natalie Portman did, I kind of wish the dancer herself that actually filmed this movie got a little more of a shout out. I don't even know who it is. Also, my fiance did just let me know the dancer in this movie, the actual dancer, not Natalie Portman, her name is Sarah Lane. She's a beautiful dancer, and I've actually worked with her before. I do know her. I did not even realize that she was the actual dancer in this film, so shout out to Sarah Lane. Professionally, from a filmmaking standpoint, the scoring of the film, the cinematography is all very, very beautiful, and it is all very well acted and performed. Now, getting into the drawbacks here, as the movie goes on, Nina's mental health really takes a dive, and the movie also has this horror element to it. By the end, I don't feel like it entirely juggles all of these elements that well. I think we dive a little too far into the horror, and the movie almost has a bit of an identity issue at the end, and I feel like it just veers a little too far into this twisted, convoluted, identity disorder plot, when it could have just narrowed it down a little more and brought it back into Nina struggling with who she is as a person and as a dancer in this ballet or in her company. Wrapping this up with the verdict, I did enjoy the movie Black Swan. It's not something kind of like Requiem for a Dream or The Whale. It's not really something I want to watch again, but I do appreciate it enough. I could see how it is damaging to an up-and-coming dancer or somebody, an up-and-coming dancer who's a little more impressionable and thinks that you do need to act this way and do these things in the ballet world to get ahead. But stepping away from that, I can see how this movie is like, this is how terribly the ballet world operates, and here's an inside peek into it. We should really do something about this. Also, acted so incredibly well, scored incredibly well. The writers and director really did their homework on the industry of ballet itself and of the ballet Swan Lake. So, all that being said, I'm gonna give Black Swan an 8 out of 10. If you have seen Black Swan, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one.